Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about the idea of Xbox because currently they just had the worst year ever for the console. In the last couple decades of Xbox existing, they've never had 12 months with so few games, such low Game Pass subscriptions. The console sales are actually in the toilet, but in the conversation about the console war, the idea of Xbox versus PlayStation, right now, Xbox has a more exciting plan for 2025 than what PlayStation is doing. And I think there is a good chance that Xbox has a secret weapon in mind. I want to talk though. Let's discuss why I am actually and honestly extremely curious and excited for next year when it comes to Xbox. But let's dig into it. Hi, hope you're having a great day. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's begin with some numbers, right? People get a bit upset when I talk about how bad Xbox is doing, as if somehow this is my fault. People get mad when I read numbers, like this is Matt Piscatella of Cisna. These guys have raw metrics as to the success, the sales, the numbers, and yeah, Xbox is literally measurably in a very bad spot. They have actually just broken their own record for how low sales are getting. So last year, they were already down an incredible amount, and the numbers have gone down from there. So literally, we're at a point where Xbox sales, they really can't go lower. I mean, we're in the fractions of a percent here. Things are getting abysmally bad. But when it comes to Xbox, their whole thing is, oh, it's not about the console, it's about Game Pass. We're the Xbox Game Pass brand. We're just trying to get you to subscribe, and as long as you're signing up, then we still consider that a W. But that experiment, that idea, it hasn't really been working out definitely as much as Xbox expected. In fact, I like this Forbes title here. Xbox Game Pass is running out of wells to dig up new subscribers. Because yeah, Xbox is in a strange spot because the original idea was, okay, buy an Xbox and then you don't have to buy games, right? You get Game Pass and you get every game, like every first party. Yeah, you got to buy some third party, but if you get Call of Duty and Indiana Jones and Flight Sim and Gears of War, that'll keep you pretty happy, right? Well, it turns out that idea has not been working because people aren't buying an Xbox. If people aren't getting an Xbox, it seems like very few people are getting Xbox Game Pass, even if it is for PC. But what's crazy is that whenever I talk about how bad Xbox is doing, a lot of times people say, well, it's not the end. Xbox will continue to exist. And I think that is correct. But even though I see talks, right now there is some rumblings that Mark Cerny is currently working on the PlayStation 6. There is talks right now that a new guy is currently in charge of making the next Xbox. I don't think this comes down to next gen. I think this comes down to the battle to go in a different direction. Portable. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So, the original inspiration for this video is that I have seen this interesting groundswell of hype for the last 2 months. People talking about Stalker 2 and Indiana Jones releasing in November and December. And people are saying it's really weird that this is so good after the worst year ever. In fact, I've seen people saying, like Stalker fans saying, it's insane. They released this game and they keep patching it. They keep updating it. Now, I'm a Stalker hater. I don't like survival games. Even if Stalker 2 is the best game ever, I know a lot of fans are happy with it. Anytime there is a game that I have to eat and pee in a bottle and stuff, not for me, right? I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Not for me. But what I've been thinking about is 2025, because it is kind of interesting. Maybe I'm misremembering here. Maybe I'm having a brain fart, but I cannot think of a single time where I have seen more Xbox games announced with a release date, with a schedule, with hype, with deliverables, and PlayStation doesn't. Like, actually consider that, right? Sony did incredibly good this year. They sold a crazy, crazy amount of consoles. Yeah, they had Concord, which has got to be the most expensive financial failure ever in the history of video games. But I do find it interesting that for 2025, what is PlayStation doing? They showed that cool trailer for Intergalactic, but that's coming out in 2027 is the rumor. So we're not seeing that for years and years, maybe 3 years from now. And honestly, people hate that trailer, so I know I'm alone to be excited about it. But when I look at this infographic, I do get excited. I get actually extremely curious in a way I haven't been for Xbox games in a very long time, right? Now, let's just get this out of the way. These games are all coming to PlayStation. Every single one of these. Even if they don't currently have a release date or a schedule or a window, these games are all coming to PlayStation. There is already a bunch of leaks from all the biggest Xbox leakers that Microsoft pretty much got told, hey, this stuff, if it's going to be profitable, we got to branch out. We got to put it on PlayStation. So the Outer Worlds 2 trailer already has a PlayStation 2 logo on it. Doom the Dark Ages has already been confirmed for PlayStation, but let's just be hypothetical here, right? They released Indiana Jones this year. Came out just a couple weeks ago. It's extremely good. If you haven't played it, Indiana Jones is 10 out of 10 fantastic. I hate Indiana Jones as a character. I don't like the movies. I love the game. But it's been interesting to me that Indiana Jones came out on Xbox. A couple months later now, it's coming out on the PlayStation 5. And I've already said this, but I'm going to double dip. I'm definitely buying that on PlayStation 5. I might even review it again on PlayStation 5 just for the laughs. But let's say they do that with all of these games. Let's say even these games, they release it and then say, hey, in 100 days, it's coming out on PlayStation 5. I do think that if these games are hyped, if they're properly conveyed, if they're marketed real hard, I think there is an interesting idea if they even say, hey, get it on Game Pass today or get it in 6 months on PlayStation. I do think this might help entice people to at least look into getting an Xbox. Or even if they don't get an Xbox, it might entice people who have a gaming PC to look into PC Game Pass. Now, I think the reason this is interesting is that I think there might be a bigger demographic than you would expect of people like me, where I have a gaming PC, I've got my PlayStation 5, and I've got my Xbox, right? If a game is really good on Game Pass, I buy it on PlayStation. I've done this multiple times now, and in this case, I have already gotten to see some top secret gameplay for Doom the Dark Ages. I made a video talking about that, but I was at QuakeCon 2024. They locked the doors, they made us put our cameras away, and they showed us like 8 minutes of absolutely insane gameplay. Doom the Dark Ages looks like it might win Game of the Year 2025. It actually looks that good. If that game comes out first on Xbox, and then they say, hey, this is coming out in 3 months, 6 months, whatever, on PlayStation 5, you bet your ass I'm going to play that on Game Pass. Right now, I'm not subscribed to Game Pass. I will sign up to Game Pass, beat that on my Xbox, buy it again on my PlayStation, and then platinum it on my PlayStation. Although, I'll be honest, the other Doom games have really tough platinum. So maybe I won't platinum it, but I'm curious how many people would double dip. If your primary place to play is the PlayStation, then these games, if they look good, you're definitely going to pick them up, right? But I almost think that what Xbox should do is brag more, right? I've talked about this, but I feel like part of the success of Sony, of the PlayStation 4 specifically, was that they would brag. A game comes out, Shadow of the Colossus remake, or Uncharted, or God of War, or Spider-Man 2018 with its incredibly good DLC and stuff like that. And they would say, hey, here's our big game. Here's our crazy release. Here's why you should be excited about our console, right? I feel like Xbox doesn't do that. Their stupid campaign of, this is an Xbox. Your phone is an Xbox. Your Nintendo Switch is an Xbox. That does not convey, hey, this is an Xbox, and it shows games. I hope that what Microsoft does is cranks all these out. I hope these games don't suck, because God, that would freaking blow. But more than that, I hope that Microsoft actually hypes us up, because some of these games, they keep little drip feeding gameplay of South of Midnight, and I'll be honest, this looks pretty damn generic to me, but there's definitely been games that don't look fun, but definitely are fun. I am just saying, I want to see what Microsoft does. And I think they have a chance to do a cutoff. I think they have a chance to actually be ahead of the curve with PlayStation. And in a way, that could actually be a very big moneymaker. So this is the Steam Deck. I did not love PC gaming for the longest time. Even when I had a good PC because I was editing videos and stuff, I didn't really play on my PC. I would play specifically, I would always play either on my Xbox or I'd play on my PlayStation. All my friends got PS5, so we'd all play games together, right? But this Steam Deck really opened my eyes to ease of use. The fact that Steam games automatically have cloud saves, they have automatic button configurations, they have, honestly, this thing is insane. You can also program it. I've got mine completely filled with ROMs. I've got mine so I can play Super Nintendo. I can play the original Resident Evil on this. I mean, it is insane that you can have custom startup screens. I actually have mine set up so that I can actually play, like I see, there's Resident Evil 2, Rule of Rose, Parasite Eve, Vampire Survivors. I've got it set up so I can actually play PlayStation 5 Remote Play. This thing melted my brain, and there is talks that what essentially they're about to reveal is a new version of the Steam Deck. Now, it's not directly made by it, but this thing is going to have the Valve Steam OS, so it's going to work just like the Steam Deck. It's got the Steam Deck co-designer. They're going to reveal this thing on January 7th, and Microsoft VP of Marketing Devices is going to be there. Recognize that name? Jason Ronald. Jason Ronald. I think they're about to release what is essentially an Xbox handheld. Not the Xbox handheld. There is talks that Xbox is making a handheld. I think this is a Xbox handheld. If this thing automatically has the exact same setup of the Steam Deck, but with even better graphics and built-in Game Pass, and they really hype that up and say, hey, this has cloud saves. You can play games on your Xbox. It automatically goes to the cloud. It automatically goes to this, the Legion. I think there is a good chance that people are going to start paying attention. Now, obviously, that's still a hard bridge. That's not going to be an instant wave your magic wand. But I'm curious to see how Xbox adapts to a rather hostile market. Once you start to get behind, it's difficult to catch up. And right now, Xbox is way, way behind. In fact, they even said that during the FTC trials. Xbox specifically, under oath on the stand, said, we lost the console war. They're never going to keep up. But I'm curious to see how much they can do in 2025 that is better than PlayStation and is more creative than PlayStation. Because let's face it, Sony would not make a deal like this. But these have just been some off-the-cuff thoughts. How do you guys feel about Xbox? How do you feel about the future of Xbox? And do you even expect them to be around in 10 years? Because I kind of don't. But 2025, fingers crossed they don't blow it. Love you guys very much. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I've had such a hoarse throat all day. I'm sorry if I sound a bit scratchy. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.